So, guys, so much to discuss in there. I think
I've seen it 10 times and I'm still laughing.
Right?
That's funny.
Stephen could do an entire segment on Kawhi's laugh alone.
That's
but I was
funny.
in Boston yesterday, so we might as well start there. And I can tell you guys, the Celtics are mighty confident about their squad this season, and even Klay Thompson seemed to agree. Here was his response when he was asked who the biggest threat to the Warriors were this upcoming season.
I like the team out east in Boston. They got a very nice young team. 1 through 5, man. They got a team that kind of mirrors ours as far as their length, guys who can shoot and play defense, and an unselfish way about things. So I think they are going to be a team to reckon with.
All right. Do you think Klay is just being nice because he has to say someone? He can't just sit in front of the camera and say, no one's going to beat us. Or do you think he's legit and he's right?
He knows what he's talking about. It's the younger version of the Warriors. They only have one championship. They don't have as much championship experience, but just a younger version. They got great young talent, a lot of future stars on their team. But, you know, when you're dealing with the Warriors, you're talking about experience, you're talking about MVPs, you're talking about championships. So it's a lot different. But if you have to compare a team to them that's the closest to them, you have to go to Boston.
Man, the disrespect for the Houston Rockets. I mean, this is Game 7. I realize that Trevor Ariza, Trevor Ariza must have been the MVP because, and I recognize that the Rockets aren't quite as good as they were, but they were this close. They were this close to getting them. And you know, for Kyrie, I don't blame Kyrie for talking like that. And he.
You mean Klay or Kyrie? Oh, for Kyrie to say that he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors are the hunted. He should be hunting.
Yes.
Right.
I was surprised that Klay said it, but you know what? One thing I love about Klay is he's honest.
Yes.
And maybe that's how they really feel. Maybe they really feel that they can beat Houston and that Houston got weaker and with DeMarcus they got stronger. And so I don't want Klay to stop telling the truth. So I don't want to get mad at him, but I'm just surprised that Houston wasn't the first one off his team.
I love this Celtics team, but I'm going to take a step back from you. This is not a young Warriors team yet. They got to prove it to me out on the court. You got a Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. I'm not sure that's on that team. I mean, you could go down the list. Kevin Durant. I mean, They added Boogie Cousins, people.
Right.
So yes, I think the Celtics are loaded with talent, and those young guys took huge strides last year. I got to see it though before I can say that's a young Warriors squad out there.
Go ahead.
I think all of us want the same thing. We want a competitive finals.
Yeah.
Whether that's Toronto, whether that's Boston, whether that's Philly. The last 2 years haven't been competitive for various reasons. I want to see a competitive finals, and if that's what the Celtics deliver, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and they bring in competition. Like, these young guys are hungry, and they're not only they're talented. You can X each other out with Kyrie and Steph. Both of those guys are going to be dominant and carry the series. But I just think these young guys, they're hungry, they're competing, they're not scared of the Warriors.
That's true. I agree with that.
And by the way, I'm not going to jump the Jimmy Butler conversation because we're going to talk so much about Jimmy Butler today. But I mean, the Rockets have been in the conversation, at least for Jimmy Butler. That could change this conversation.
Absolutely.
Also,
Big
right?
time.
They have an offer in. Do they have the best offer? I don't know, but they have an offer in. And you know, whenever there's a star available, Daryl Morey's trying to make it happen. And if they land Jimmy Butler, I wouldn't put them at the top, but just remember that where a team is here in September isn't where they're necessarily going to be next spring.
That'll be scary. You're talking about Chris Paul, James Harden, Capela, and Jimmy Butler. That's a nice starting 5.